Hi, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Come on in. We're starting something new tonight. We're not going to be on long. Just want to talk about mental health tonight for a few minutes. This is May, so it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm trying something new, trying to stretch out here a little bit. So let me make sure I share to my page. Do me a favor as you come on, please like, please share with your friends. Tonight, we're going to talk about Mental Health Awareness Month. We're also going to talk about why mental health awareness is important to the church, or at least should be important to the church. So please come on in. I'm going to share it to my personal page so people can see that we're on. And we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. Let's do this. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everyone doing? Hi, Sister Janice, my friend from Jamaica. Thank you so much for joining. Good evening, Sister Karen, my NBC sister. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to get started in a minute. Hi, Justice. Finally glad to be able to have you connect with us on a live. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so with this being Mastering Mind Matters being a mental health brand, obviously could not let May go by and not talk about mental health, mental wellness, and what we can do to increase awareness around this subject, which is so near and dear to my heart. And so just to give a little bit of background, my name is Ashley Burton. I started Mastering Mind Matters in December of 2018. So we are almost 3 years old. I started because I have a passion for mental health and mental wellness, but also because I have a testimony as far as mental illness is concerned. Trigger warning, I am going to talk a little bit about suicide tonight, suicidal awareness, suicidality, suicidal ideation, because that's part of my testimony. I'm a pastor's kid. I grew up in the church, born and raised. My father has been a pastor for 18 years. We just celebrated his 18th anniversary yesterday. And even though I grew up in the church, even though I knew the Lord from a very young age, I could not get around some of the feelings that I was experiencing, especially as I was approaching my teenage years. Now, we all know teenagers, they have a lot of things going on with their bodies. So things happen, we might say that they, have a lot of attitude or whatever the case may be. But for me, it was a little bit different. My moods would swing very rapidly. And I just had an overwhelming sense of just sadness. And I really was struggling with certain things in my social life. I was being bullied at school. And so I was really, really, really having a hard time. So when I was 13 years old, I decided, well, I don't have a reason to live. And I attempted suicide. Once my parents found out, thankfully, even though we're people of faith, we also believe in going to get the resources, all of the resources that God has provided for us in the earth, not just prayer and the word, which is great and wonderful, but we also believe that God has given resources such as doctors and counselors and other resources to help us really live life and live it abundantly. And so my parents helped me to get some therapy, got to college, went through a very, very, very severe depressive episode, and was once again struggling with suicidality, was prescribed medication for my depression. I ended up I had a full tuition scholarship to Penn State. I lost my scholarship because I couldn't get myself together. I was getting up and going to most of my classes, but I was so mentally drained and I had so much mental fatigue, I couldn't retain any of the information. And so you talk about impact on one's life. I went from, not being able to sleep at all, so insomnia, to hypersomnia, where I was sleeping all the time. So if I wasn't in class, I was sleeping. I wasn't the typical college student who did a lot of partying and whatnot. A lot of times I preferred to stay in because I was dealing with depression. I didn't really know how to deal with that. So as I have progressed through through my life, and as I have gotten more information, as I've received more resources and I've received more support, it has become my life's passion to be able to be there for others. And so after I graduated from my undergraduate, I decided to go to seminary. I attended Dallas Theological Seminary. And then after that period in my life, I really felt an unction to really go into counseling or therapy. So I decided to attend Liberty University to get my master's degree in professional counseling. Now, I do have to give kind of a forewarning. I am not a licensed practitioner. I am starting my doctorate degree in my doctoral program in marriage and family therapy. Actually, next Monday is the first day for that. But I have to say that I am not operating while we're doing these lives, I'm not operating from a standpoint where I am giving advice as a licensed professional. I am not a licensed professional. It does not mean that I'm not eligible, but I also have to make sure that people are not trying to diagnose themselves based off of something I say. If you hear something, thank you so much, Sister Janice. Thank you, Nandi, for coming on. Thank you, Justice. So if you hear something that I said that it piques your interest, or you think that you might be dealing with something, let's hook up, let's talk. I can at least get you to a therapist, right? So I'm very clear at this particular point in my life, my life's journey at this point is to connect people to, right? So I have the know-how, I have the education. And at this point, if I wanted to go into private practice, I could under supervision. But my job, my life's journey right now is just to really be a bridge to connect people. So people who are struggling, they may not know that they need help, or even know where to start as far as resources. I can get them to those resources, and I can help them talk through what apprehensions they may be having, because it is not easy to take a step like going to therapy, or to even implement, more mental health or mental wellness specific task in your life to kind of help you get on the right foot. All right. So tonight we want to talk about two things, and then I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys for coming. Please continue to like and share. If you are on Facebook, please just hit that like button or love button. I see y'all are doing that. And also hit the share button so we can get word out, because it is Mental Health Awareness Month in the month of May. So let's talk about Mental Health Awareness Month. It started actually in 1949. I did not know that. I had no clue. I thought it was a more recent kind of recognition month or celebration month. Here in the United States, we have so many different months, Black History Month, Hispanic Awareness Month, Asian Awareness Month, different recognition months or awareness months for different types of cancers and things like that. And so, yes, we have a Mental Health Awareness Month. It's every May. And again, it started being observed in the United States in 1949. So that makes this the 72nd year. Would not have known that. And it was started by what's now known as Mental Health America, which used to be known as the National Association for Mental Health. So each year in mid-March, Mental Health America, on their website, they release a toolkit with resources. They usually have a theme for Mental Health Awareness Month each year, and they release a toolkit in about mid-March. If you go on their website, they release a toolkit which has, tons of activities and brochures with information about how to get the word out about Mental Health Awareness Month. What are some things that we can do to focus on our mental health? What are signs and symptoms of someone who may be struggling with mental illness or mental unwellness, right? So this year's theme is a continuation of last year's theme. We all know that the last couple of years have been really, really rough, right? It's been really rough on the international level. And many of us, on top of the stressors that were already in our lives, have had to really figure out ways to pivot so that we can remain healthy, right? So that we can still do things that we need to do. So we can still go places we need to go, right? The bills don't stop going, right? If you have, a spouse and children or partner and children, you still got to do things. And then you have to do things for yourself, right? And so the theme for this year is hashtag tools to thrive. All right. And this term was chosen in a time of unprecedented anxiety about a world pandemic. And so I'm actually going to show you what the Mental Health America website looks like. Give me a second. And so you can see kind of how it is. So this is Mental Health America's website, mhanational.org. And then when you go in there, because it's May, right? It's right there on the front page. It starts talking about Mental Health Month, and you can click on it to find more information. So this is what the theme looks like for this year, Tools to Thrive. And then if you scroll through, you get it describes, kind of the history behind Mental Health Awareness Month. It describes what they're doing and why they chose the theme for this year. So the topics that they really want to focus in on for 2021: adapting after trauma and stress, dealing with anger and frustration, getting out of thinking traps, processing big changes, taking time for yourself, and radical acceptance. All right, couldn't get out. So you can also download the toolkit. These are all free resources, right? So there are a lot of things that you might have to pay for, but the great thing about mental health being something that's in the forefront now, there are a lot of free resources. There are, posters that you can print out. There are things that you can post on your social media, okay? And so this is what that looks like. So I just wanted to make sure that I showed that so that you can know that this is something that is available to you. All right, so that is Mental Health Awareness Month. So throughout this month, I have made it my, I was challenged, actually, I'm gonna be honest. I was challenged, I'm in a group kind of coaching cohort for 6 months. And we were challenged to do some things to help us grow what we say our brand, or what we say we're passionate about. Things that we were challenged to do something to help grow it. And they told us, hey, you have to go live on Facebook or YouTube this month. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was terrified because I still have some hangups. I don't always like the way I look on screen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I said, what a perfect time for me to start doing something like this, because it's May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So I have decided to go live 3 times this month. Didn't want to overdo it because, like I said, I start my doctoral program next Monday. But I will also be going live at the same time next Monday at 6 p.m. and also on Monday, May the 24th. So please mark your calendars to join me. Again, these are called break room chats. They're meant to be very light. You can ask questions, but we're going to focus in on, a certain topic as we do this. So why is mental health awareness crucial for the church? If you follow Mastering Mind Matters, my page on Facebook or on Instagram, you saw that I posted a statistic earlier. And this statistic said, I have a different statistic, but the one that I posted earlier said 49% of pastors say that they never talk about mental health with their congregations. Never, or do it very rarely. 49%. That means half of the people in the United States are going to church and they're never hearing from their spiritual leaders about mental health awareness. I believe that's a problem. It's a problem because when you look at the statistics in all, right, the statistics in the United States say that 1 in 5 people are going to deal with some type of mental illness or mental unwellness in their lifetime, to the point that it will actually have like a serious impact on their ability to function, on their ability to be, right? And so if people are coming to churches, right, and churches are still in different ways, but churches are still a major place that people come to seek counsel, to seek refuge, right? If that is the case, then the church has a responsibility, right, to speak about mental health. Another statistic says only 14% of churchgoers reported that their church had provided training or resources for ministry leaders to be able to identify signs of someone at risk of dying by suicide in the last year. Let me say that again. 14% of churchgoers reported that their church had provided training and or resources for ministry leaders to be able to identify signs of someone at risk of dying by suicide in the last year. That's a statistic from Ed Stetzer in 2018. Suicide is a huge thing. I just share a piece of my story: suicidal ideation, suicidal intent, and actually attempting suicide is a part of my story. The last time I was actively suicidal was last year, right? And so that is something that I deal with. And I love Jesus, and I am active in ministry, and I have preached the word of God. I have taught the word of God, and I still have struggled with that. And so part of my mission is to make this something that's less stigmatizing, right? We don't want people to feel when they come into the house of God, when they come into our churches, that they're going to receive the same stigma or maybe even worse stigma from people who are in the church who are supposed to be there to help, who they're coming to for help. And so part of me breaking the stigma is, you know, a lot of times when people see me, they see my accomplishments, they see what's going on in my life, they see my highlights reel. I try to be as honest as possible about the ways in which I am still struggling. And that's to really humanize it and to normalize it to people, so that when we talk about mental health or mental illness, when we encounter people with mental illness, we will be operating more from a place of empathy. So with people still we don't say committing suicide, language is important. With people still attempting suicide, with people still dying by suicide, the church needs to be prepared, right? How can we effectively curb something if we don't even know what we're looking for? If I don't know what some of the typical signs and symptoms are for when people are feeling suicidal or maybe strongly considering suicide, how will I stop that? Right. And so it can be a very scary thing. I don't want to sit here and make it seem like, you know, talking about mental health, talking about suicide is something that's really easy and we should just be able to do it today, tomorrow. No, it is a very difficult thing. It is very uncomfortable when people come and really lay all of what they're going through at your feet or, you know, in your lap. It can be very, very difficult to know how to respond. And if you need to say something, you know, yes, I can pray, but what else can I do? You know, all of these are good questions and good considerations. And so that's why we have these moments where we can talk. 3 John chapter 1, verse 2, I'm going to pull it up. This is one of the scriptures that I really love because it really, really describes why I feel strongly that God really desires for our mental health to be in a great place. It says, "Beloved, I pray that in every way you may succeed and prosper and be in good health physically, just as I know your soul prospers." All right, so that's the amplified version. But you may hear people quote it, you know, I pray that you would that you would succeed and prosper and be in good health, just as your soul is prospering, right? And so the word there for soul is suke in the Greek. And it's similar to a translation of in the Hebrew scriptures that incorporates both the mind and the body, or what some people would consider to be the mind-body connection, right? And so when it says that your soul is prospering, you know, a lot of times we talk a lot about our soul, in the churches, right? Because, you get your soul saved, your soul, you want your soul to be right. You want your soul to go home to the Lord. But here in this verse, it's talking about something very tangible that we generally don't think about when we think about soul. Usually when you think about your soul, you think about something that's intangible, right? It's part of your, like it's not a physical part of your body, but it's something that belongs to your being. But here it's tangible. Like God not only wishes for our, our spirits to prosper, he also desires for our mind-body connection to be in great health, right? And that they will prosper together. That's what I get from 3 John verse 2, right? And so because of that, mental health awareness should be important to the church, because if we're in the business of saving souls, like what is the church's mission, right? And if I ask that to most church people, many of us would say, oh, it's the church's mission to save souls. Or, we'll trot out the Great Commission, go ye therefore preaching the gospel. The gospel is the good news. And we understand that the crux of the gospel is Jesus Christ, right? But what I love about Jesus Christ is that throughout his ministry, you saw that Jesus didn't just care for people's spiritual needs. More times than not, most of the time, Jesus met their physical need first, right? And then he attended to their spiritual needs. We as the church, we can't just say, oh, I just want to get people saved. People are coming into our doors and they're dealing with so many things. And many people are still looking to preachers and pastors and church leaders for counsel, for prayer, for advice. We need to be armed, right? To be able to be in the best position to give people what it is that they're seeking. Or we also need to be real with ourselves. If we are not equipped to handle what people bring to us, we need to be in a position to utilize all of the resources that God has given us in the earth, including medical professionals or mental health professionals, if you will. And if we need to make a judgment call to actually refer out, we need to be in a position to do that too. This is why mental health awareness should be important for the church, right? Everything that people bring to the church is not going to need just prayer, right? Faith without works is dead. I can pray for somebody and I can still help them get to the resources that will accurately and acutely meet whatever need they're presenting. If someone comes to me and they say, Ashley, I've been having chest pains, I'm going to pray for them, absolutely, but I'm also going to tell them, sis, bro, friend, you need to go to the emergency room if you're having chest pains. I am not a medical professional. I am not in the position to be able to say to you, I'm just going to pray for you. We're going to believe that God is going to heal you. We're going to believe that, but we're also going to use those other resources to help us get to that healing. Does that make sense? We as the church have to take mental health seriously. We're seeing now more than ever with people not being able to gather physically, or with those things looking different these days, and being in a national pandemic and the amount of death. People have always been dying, but it just seems like over the past year, more people have passed, and a lot of people not even passing, because of the pandemic. People are still dying of things that they died before. People have lost jobs. People have, their relationships have crumbled. People are losing their marriages. People are having to, navigate breakdowns in relationships with their children, extended family. People need to come to the church and get fed spiritually, but they also need soul care. And mental health awareness is a part of soul care. So that is I'm almost at my 30 minutes. That is my spiel about why mental health awareness is important for the church. We're going to talk about the language around mental health awareness next Monday at 6 p.m. So I really, really, really would love for you to join us for that. I just want to really quickly, before I get off, I want to highlight a few things. One, on Wednesday, I'm a part of an initiative called the Stigma Breakers Collective. And every first Wednesday at 6 p.m., we get on and we talk about something about mental health. Usually it's a random conversation. But this month we'll really be focusing on an event that we'll be hosting on Saturday, May 15th. But I do want to share that we will be on, and I'm going to show you where you can find that combo. This is the Sigma Breakers Collective Conversation. Again, every first Wednesday at 6 p.m., you can type in One Singing Lady on YouTube. That is Lisa Gilliam's YouTube channel, and it usually broadcasts on there. So please, if you have time, and I usually try to reshare our broadcast onto the Mastering Mind Matters page. So if you have time to join us, I would love, love, love to have you join us for that. So this month, we will be talking about the Mental Health and Ministry Forum that the Sigma Breakers Collective is putting on in conjunction with Peace Lutheran Church in Washington, D.C. It is a virtual thing, so it'll be on Saturday, May 15th, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. It will be a great time of learning. I'm excited. We're going to give some information, and then we're also going to give time for you all to be able to kind of work through some scenarios together, community learning, right? We'll be able to work through some scenarios and talk about ways in which, you know, when certain things present in our churches, what do we need to do? What are our next steps? Right? We know we're going to pray. We know we're going to seek the Lord, but what else? Right? So please, please, please mark your calendars to join us on Saturday, May 15th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. There is the link to register. It is free. So, you know, please join us. So you can go to that Eventbrite link and then register there. I also want to say, or announce that because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, Mastering Mind Matters does have, we do have merchandise that's on sale. Yay. And so I have some with me, but I also wanted to share that we are having a month-long discount. So if you go to masteringmindmattersnow.org, you will be able to get 10% off of your purchase, right? So you'll be able to get 10% off of your purchase the whole entire month at checkout. Make sure you enter MHAM21, MHAM21, and you'll be able to get 10% off of your purchase. You can see here, I've got some of the merchandise that you can see on there. Use faith as a tool for healing and not as a tool for avoidance shirt is on there. I have a new tote bag. It says the only baggage I plan to carry. It is now up and live on the Mastering Mind Matters shop. We of course have our Mastering Mind Matters cap and our mug. I have that with me that I can share. This is what the mug looks like in real time. We actually have two mugs. This is just one of them. And I also have my Mastering Mind Matters hat. And this comes in black, regular denim, and also with like a light washed out denim. All right. So you need to be able to, in order to increase awareness, people are visual as well. So you need something to wear when you walk around, when you go to church, when you go run your errands, even if you're at work, if you're able to wear something that has a logo on it. You want to be a walking billboard. You want to make sure that you have your conversation pieces ready. Also, I'm doing this prematurely. Don't kill me, Lisa. But the Sigma Breakers Collective has our shirts as well. And you can also purchase that on the Mastering Mind Matters website. All right. And it says, I'm a Stigma Breaker, are you? So get over there. Make sure you get your stuff. You need your things, right? You need your things. You need to be able to show that you want to bring awareness to mental health and mental wellness. And you want to make sure that people know that you're a person who is actively endeavoring to break the stigma. Last thing, and I'm going to, well, two more things I'm going to leave you alone for this evening. I also believe in providing resources for children. One of my good friends, Barbara, her mom, Reverend Dr. Deborah Scarborough, has done a Bible journal for kids, putting on the whole full armor of God. This is something that's meant to be done, parents, with your children. It's an excellent way, if you're a Christian, it's an excellent way to get them to get in the word and also think about what the word is saying and what it means to them, right? Journaling is one of the tools that many therapists and counselors, whether they're Christian or not, use. Is a great way to help one process their thoughts, right? So we love the word of God, but we're not going to pretend like the word of God doesn't have some things in there that are really, 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 really hard to break down or really, really, really hard to digest. And so we want them to get into the habit of being able to write down what they're hearing, what they're reading, what they're seeing, and ask questions and figure out, okay, what does that mean specifically for me? Finally, I am wearing an I Am Light shirt. This shirt is done by my wonderful sister-in-law, Shantae Stanback. She's the widow of my brother, Greg. And she has, out of that terrible time in her life, has really grown to a place where she is really allowing the Lord to use all of her life's experiences for ministry. And so she is a consultant. She's a CEO. And she is moving into coaching, life coaching. So if you like this I Am Light shirt, you can go to ShantaeStanback.com. I actually have an extra shirt. She gave me an extra shirt. It's in this beautiful, I guess this is teal. And so this is a 2X. So if you are a woman who wears a 2X, or if you wear woman cut clothes and you wear a 2X, send me an email at speakashleyb@gmail.com and it is all yours. All right. Can you see what the shirt looks like? All right. It's in the plastic. I'm not bootlegging. I haven't touched it. But this is a 2X. So if you would like this shirt, please email me at speakashleyb@gmail.com and I can get it mailed out to you. All right. I want to thank you all for joining me for my first break room chat. Please do me a favor. Even though we're ending this, please make sure that you like, please make sure that you share so that next week we'll have more people on. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me on Mastering Mind Matters Facebook page, Mastering Mind Matters Instagram. You can also send me a message through masteringmindmattersnow.org. And let me start my ticker, masteringmindmattersnow.org. I'm in the middle of transitioning from my old website to a revamped website. So this is the revamped website that's not finished yet, but we're working on it, right? Don't have to start when it's perfect, just start. Right? So if you need anything, if you want to talk to me about anything, I am available and willing to definitely look to discuss anything with you. And I look forward to these future sessions. So thank you so much for engaging. Thank you so much. I see you on, Lisa. Thank you, Paige. Principal Lester in the building. Sister Janice, thank you so much. Justice, thank you. Sister Karen, I can only see if you commented. Thank you, Darlene, my godmother. I love that you all came on and supported. And I'm looking forward to next week. All right, have a good evening. God bless, and make sure you take care of your mental wellness.